I remember what it was like to be 17 when there were no cars and we had to walk uphill in snow both ways.
Okay. Right.
Brothers on our backs.
Right. Yeah, Mark developed. I can see the ink block next to us. I see a Vine of the Vast Woods. He looks like he's going to keep his. And I see some Grixis cards from Pat. He's going to keep it surprised. He's on the mulligan. We are going to get underway. Grixis control on the right, Infect on the left. Who do you like in this match there, Adam?
I like Infect if their draw lines up.
Even against all the removal Patrick will have.
Yeah, but he really just needs a. He really just needs a. No mercy sent. Thanks for the follow.
Appreciate you. Follow us there.
He just needs one threat he can protect, right?
Yeah.
Because their payoff turn is just so big.
The Infect player.
Yes. Yeah. It's very hard. At no point can Patrick actually tap out.
He's definitely playing a Protect the Queen. There's the push on the Glistener Elf. Here comes Glistener Elf number 2.
Keep it 1 minute in hand. No, we got an Alexis. All right. He did not have the turn 1 Noble, which was ideal, although Patrick still would have bolted the bird.
So the Thought Scour, interesting. He's not going to kill it immediately. He's going to turn over 2 lands and draw.
So do you agree with the choice to not Thought Scour your opponent playing Become Immense?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did not know people would do that.
No, nobody would do that. I was just testing you. You passed the test. Sweet. Justin says he would.
Live it dangerously. I like it. I like it a lot.
I also like to live dangerously.
You have 17, sir. No, what was it? That was number 2 at 17. Was Austin at 5?
I don't remember.
I suggest you hit, sir. With the blackjack dealer that looked very specifically like Saddam Hussein.
Right?
Yeah.
That's definitely Austin Powers.
Yes, that is awesome. We know Justin.
I'm surprised Justin even know what Austin Powers is.
Remember when we came out, what, 1999?
I definitely remember seeing the first one in high school.
I remember seeing the second one in theaters.
So Darth Steves, Justin had the tech of Dryad Arbor equipped Lightning Greaves. Oh, when it came out. Oh, you mean when he Living ended? I'm not sure. Yes, it would have 76 then. When did the International Man of Mystery come out?
1997. Wait, Justin, does that mean you are younger than this movie?
Is he dead?
Patrick tapped out. Why did Patrick tap out? Did he try to kill something and Mark had the vines? Oh, I think he's just dead.
He might be dead.
Here we go. Here's the fetch shot.
Yep.
He has Become Immense in hand.
So again, I would like Mark more if he was on the play. They need a very specific lineup of cards. Yeah, Mark announced he thinks he has it.
He has 2. Become Immense is 6. That's 8.
So that puts it at 2.
Yep.
Penalty having is +1/+2.
He's got the Reject Growth. Yeah,
Reject Growth, so that's 4.
He's got Become Immense. He's got it.
And then he has Become Immense. 6, and then he has Become Immense still.
Pat is not at the bottom of this. He's Become Immense. Patrick's tapped out. No Force of Will. No nothing. No mental misstep. Mark Anliker gets game number 1. Just like that. Patrick tapped out, and as a result, he died.
Yeah, so it all depends on the Grixis player. Obviously, the Infect player has to have some game, but at no point can you tap out.
No, it's never safe.
Also, Bolt's not going to be the greatest because they can just get bigger than Bolt with several of the spells. Obviously, it's still good, but...
So what do you bring in then if you're Pat? Do you...
Static Caster if he has a Static Caster.
Okay. Because you can't rely on blockers because the Ink Block can fly over everything and the Blink Block.
That's true, but I see a Young Pyromancer in his board. That only deals with one of the threats, though. Yeah. It only deals with Glistener Elf, not Blighted Agent, or Implant Nexus.
Yeah, Blighted Agent was on track. That's just unblockable.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot. Yeah, he definitely has. So I want Dispels. Right, if I have Dispel, and I want is it Static Caster. I think if it's anything besides that, I don't really know if I want it. I think Kozilek's Return is bad.
He just brought a Kozilek's Return.
Cryptic
took it out. I'm sorry.
Cryptic Command's awful expensive. I don't know if I want to be spending 4 mana to counter a spell. I think once Sleep Logic not in, because it's a cheaper counter. I want a cheaper way to deal with it at instant speed. which all of his removal lines up. I don't know if he was running like any dread boards. Obviously, those would come out because they're not very.
Yeah, sorcery speed is not what you want to do at all.
Colgan's Command's a fine card. I just am not really happy with a lot of his removal costs too much. So Colgan's Command can be a complete blowout, but also costs 3 mana. And it's only going to do 2 damage. Obviously, it can shatter the Nexus. Mark, Mark on the other side. Can you bring up an average Infect deck? I'm interested in what's in their sideboard.
Let's bring up the SCG Invitational winning.
Yeah, so Grixis Control traditionally has some similar sideboard cards because they need to deal with X1, so it's a static caster is great.
Sideboard for the typical Infect deck from Aaron Barish. You have 1 Grafdigger's Cage, 2 Relics, 2 Shaper Sanctuaries, 1 Dismember, 2 Dissenter's Deliverance, 2 Nature's Claims, 1 Spell Pierced, and 4 Geist of Saint Draft.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I remember seeing that. So if I'm Mark, Spell Pierce is okay. A lot of Pat stuff costs too much. Grafdigger's Cage is not good. You could make an argument for Relic, but there are people that don't like bringing in Graveyard Hate for these Grixis control decks, even though they can delve out a threat. Patrick's on the play. He can delve out a big threat on turn 2. Grafdigger's Cage isn't going to do much against a turn 2 delve threat. Shaper Sanctuary. Mark is way too ahead of the game. Mark was playing probably Shaper Sanctuary months ago, and because he's all about his splashy cards. It's hard to be splash in this deck, but if you got Shaper Sanctuary, he definitely bring it in. I just don't care about Dismember. That's kind of off plan A, although Gurmag Angler obviously is a house against you if you don't kill them.
Now, for those who do not know how Infect works, it's very simple. Normally in Game of Magic, in a game like this, you want to deal 20 damage to your opponent. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Infect halves that because when your opponent has 10 poison counters, they lose the game. And with Infect, any creature that has Infect deals the damage and poison counters. So essentially, you're cutting the clock of your opponent in half. The one drawback is that Mark only has 12 creatures that deal Infect damage.
Yeah, and traditionally the trade-off is because you're halving your opponent's life. You're basically, they start at 10, not 20.
Yes.
Patrick can die to regular damage. That is plan triple QF hidden for Q through Z hidden for Mark. People die to Noble Hire beatdowns with pump spells. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, people.
But do you like Infect as mechanic? So
I liked it a lot.
For me Magic historians, Poisonous was a thing before. Wasn't that just Time's Power with some slivers? Was Poisonous before that, or is that?
I think it was just slivers. Let's look it up. So Infect is actually the first modern deck I built.
Yeah.
So I am a big fan of it.
How do you feel about it as a mechanic? So I think it's balanced fairly well.
Yes.
And the cards do have a big enough drawback. The one was obviously offensive at the time was Phyrexian Crusader, just because it was 2/2, right? It had relevant protection.
Going back in terms of Poisonous, it is a keyword ability that was introduced in Future Sight, although the concept of poison counters is as old as Legend itself. Poisonous has only been printed on 2 cards. Time Shifted Snake Cult Initiation and Virulent Sliver. So we have a really old time-shifted card that gives Gen Creature Poisonous 3. And of course, it's not the past ones, it's the future one. So like the old Messian Curse of Water. As we have an Inquisition taking out Glistener out from Patrick there. And Virulent Sliver, which is the sliver that has Poisonous.
So Mark, keeping the one Infect thread here. Ideally, Mark would draw a Inkmoth Nexus, so Pat can only respond at instant speed.
Yes.
Pat wisely taking the Glistener Elf, although he doesn't have a whole lot of interaction. I mean, Mark doesn't have a whole lot going on here.
He's an Opt.
Opt is interesting. That was not in the deck list, was it?
Let's take a look. It used to be Gitaxian Probe, then
right.
Probe got banned. I am seeing 0 copies of Opt.
Interesting that he had two main deck Spell Pierces, though.
I'm also seeing 0 copies of Sphere Visions, too, so there's no deck filtering of any kind in Aaron's list.
It's basically mulligan aggressively and keep a threat.
Of note, too, that normally when it comes to everything Infect, we get a Tom Ross, but Tom Ross did not play Magic because he's working for Wizards of the Coast. He did make an interesting tweet at the Grand Prix Vegas saying that everyone's lucky he can't play because he would have steamrolled through that top 8 of 2 ships passing in the night.
He is a strong magician.
Yes.
Or he was.
And of course, Infect's place in the meta died down when Fiddle Push was printed. Turns out having an additional 1 mana removal spell to take care of every Infect creature was pretty good.
I also would attribute to the loss of not having perfect information.
Yeah, probe was important. I think the combination of the two was just a pretty fatal blow. I think the deck could have lived without Gitaxian Probe. I'm sure you don't have to pay perfect information, but in the end,
I mean, I guess it could. Obviously, it won a Star City Invitational.
Yeah, but just Fatal Push, just being a clean, efficient answer to these Infect.
Interesting.
Characters.
It looks Pat's going to rely on this Lightning Bolt. He actually might get the Feels Bad Man here. I do see Mark brought in Spellskite, which is interesting.
I feel like it's a must include, just because it's able to act as another protection spell against some of these cards, as well as against Bolt, it just completely blanks the removal spell.
Do you like? So he has a Tasker. Tasker is what, black and 5?
5 black, correct.
Yeah. So he could have delved the Tasker last turn and chose not to. Do you like this line? So Mark,
he's keeping Mana Leak up.
Mark currently does not have an Infect threat. Pat already has Mana Leak plus Bolt, right? That he can untap and play next turn. Being that Mark did not have had an Infect guy, I might have just got out my threat, right, and try to end the game.
Yeah, because as it stands, useless.
Yeah, as it stands, his Noble Harks, even to a turn, it's going to start adding up. Pat's already at 13.
Yeah, he can't bolt anything because the Spellskite's going to eat it.
I don't think Pat can't Mana Leak in this.
Yeah, he's going to try. He's going to make him pay.
Does he have a Spell Pierce? Looks like he has a Blighted Agent.
Mark can pay 3.
He can, but why? Why would he? Depends how bad he wants it.
I mean, you're going to pay it because Spellskite eats the Bolt, and it eats every other removal spell too. I mean, it's not as efficient as, you know, if he eats a push, it still dies, but if Spellskite eats the Bolt, then he still has a Spellskite in play.
Yeah.
So a little known fact about the Windswept Teeth. Did you know that Link is on the art for that?
Who is?
Link.
Does he bring it up?
Remember, we have to bring up the original Windswept Teeth, the Onslaught one. Here's the Tassiger from Patrick. I feel like it's just a turn too late because he could have Mana Leaked and he could have gotten some free damage in there before.
All right, where's Link?
We'll bring up on the screen for you.
Oh, that little blob is Link?
Yeah, so we'll bring up on the screen so you can all see it.
Yep.
Our streamers putting a box over where Link is.
How do we know that's actually Link?
It's not.
Okay.
But it looks a lot like Link.
Okay.
Then as you stream into that box, you see a familiar friend there. He's got the shield, the green outfit, and the sword with him too.
Don't let the Illuminati know that you figured it out.
That's who Mark was the one who pointed it out to me, and now I just can never unsee it.
If Mark told me that, I'd believe him. But you tell me that, I think you're a dirty liar.
No. We'll ask Mark after this game if Link is on Windswept Teeth.
Yeah. Yep, I see it. Yep, you see it? Yeah. Yeah, this Toon Link. This Toon Link. Toon Link's OP. So it's Jake. All right, real talk. So we've got regular Link and Toon Link and Smash. Why can't we have Waluigi?
I don't
Does everybody in chat want to see Waluigi and Smash?
I would love to see Waluigi and Smash. I mean, I said everybody's here. Guess what? Everybody is not here.
Correct.
And this is the greatest travesty of the year so far.
Travesty
is that there's no Waluigi in Smash.
Yeah, they also updated Link.
We see the Link now. You copied Link into the image. You did it, Justin. Congratulations. Oh, no. It's too late. There we go.
Oh, man.
You did it.
It's been there. No, he just touched it up a little.
Well, here's a Fatal Push from Pat trying to get rid of his Blighted Agent.
I think you have to redirect it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why did you play 3 mana for your Spellskite?
Exactly. They already ate the Bolt, and now it's Eat the Push. And
does he have some pump spells? It's interesting. Is Pat doing this on his turn?
I think so.
Which is actually good, right? Because it's counterintuitive to waste your spells on your turn.
Yeah.
But
when you're ever playing Infect, you want to use your removal on your turn outside of their combat.
Yeah, otherwise you're just gonna die because they're gonna go spell.
Yeah. Speaking of which, here's a Vines.
Not kicked.
No, because it's
no, it's 5/5.
Because it's Pat's. What is it? Oh no.
So how do you feel about the greedier line here of Vinesing, and then Pat has to respond with the Bolt, and then redirecting?
I would love that line actually,
because then you have both creatures, right?
Here's a combat. I saw Mark has a
3.
What's it called? It's a deck for 3.
You have a
He
pump
has,
spell and
he
Become
has
Immense?
a Become Immense. He has 1 Become Immense.
I don't think you just jam here, do you?
He's got 1 card in hand, I think.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think you do either.
enjoy your assist trophy, filthy peasants. Wah! 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 If Derpy Wario can be in the game, why can't Trash and Baby Eating Waluigi be in the game?
All right, so Mark had it. He had the Become Immense and the Blossoming Defense.
Oh, wow.
So Mark, it was a very good thing you paid for that Mana Leak, because that spell's get one of the game at 8. 2 removal spells. We're now going to be shown
I agree with this.
Waluigi. Waluigi, how do you feel about not being a Smash? Oh.
So it's been brought to my attention, maybe through a meme,
Spell tag was good.
that Waluigi's only in
really
party
had enough
games,
mana
but
to get
isn't
around the
Smash a party game?
Yes, it is.
Smash Brothers was never intended to be